Xtreme, them gains, extreme shit we see, extreme. Want to know about corruption? Well, listen to what I see. An algorithmic money making, taking, flaking fucking steam. And if you let it, they'll get it. They'll gut you till you bleed. A lot of y'all get fucked by the bucket that you think it's free. Yeah, it's me, your team, Xtreme.
What's up, y'all? What's up, YouTube? What's up, Extreme Gains family? I'm Chuck, and this is Extreme Gains. I am not a financial advisor. Nothing I say is or ever will be financial advice. Please do not take it as such. Today is Thursday, December 22nd, 2022, and this is my AMC, GME, and SPY Thursday daily update and preparation video for tomorrow and beyond. As always, I hope y'all had a great week in the market this week. More importantly, I hope you made some extreme gains for yourselves. I'm going to go over some of my regulars, my snake algo methods, and some macro comparatives. So with all of that said, let's dig in. Hey, Merry Christmas to everybody. I wanted to take a second and say that I hope y'all enjoy the upcoming holiday weekend and have a great Christmas with you and yours. Had a pretty crazy week, as most of you know. I did put out a couple tweets and a couple posts in the community tab here on YouTube about being hacked, but I am back up and running, and everything is better now than it was before, so we're back on it with no issues whatsoever. But I do appreciate everybody reaching out and all the support out there on social media as well. I'm going to go ahead and go over everything. I'm not going to do the side-by-sides. I know we have some catching up to do here. The last update and prep I put out was on Sunday for the weekly update and prep. So I'm just going to go ahead and go over the current intra-week snakes and macro comparatives, like I said, and where our current price action is within them, and then we will get out of here. More than anything, I wanted to come on here and say Merry Christmas to everybody, and I appreciate all the support. So moving on to the charts. Excuse me, currently on your screen is AMC and my current intra-week snake. AMC finished the day today down 7.36% in regular trading hours, down an additional 1.22% in after hours, trading at 485. The current intra-week snake is on your screen. It's in red. That's the day prior to the previous divergence from and completion of fulfillment of the previous intra-week snake that you see here in blue. And you can see once again this week, all week long for the 7th consecutive week, it has fulfilled its projection absolutely dead on. You can see the location of price action within it and what the projection would be from it moving forward into tomorrow and beyond if price action were to continue to fulfill it. Now, there was some news or quote-unquote justification for movement that happened here this morning with AMC with a potential upcoming vote for a reverse split, as well as the merger of Ape into AMC common shares. So there was some induced volatility this morning, as you can see here with AMC. It did get smashed down this morning to around $3.73 and then put a pretty nice bounce in back to the upside, therefore converging back with the intra-week snake for the potential continued fulfillment of it in its position. Ape had a hell of a day today, finishing the day up 75%. I think at one point it was up over 100% in pre-market this morning as well. So congrats to anybody that had the opportunity and took advantage of that volatility this morning on both tickers to make some extreme gains for yourselves. I did exactly that. I traded pre-market this morning. I was done trading today before the market even opened. So hopefully you all had a good day from that perspective as well. So from that perspective on the intra-week snake, that's what I'm looking at with AMC. From a technical perspective, the same levels are still intact. As you can see, we are still in between. I'm looking at the 475 as my significant level of support to downside. If that breaches, I'd be looking for a move down to around 430. However, back upside, if it breaches back upside, I'm looking for that resistance to hit at around 502. A breach of that, and I'll be looking for the move back up to the 547. Then from the macro comparative on AMC, as most, if not all of you know, I've been tracking this macro double bottom from prior to the January 2021 run-up for over a year now. And in its OG position, you can see where we are at within it. We failed to continue that fulfillment up. We breached downside, fulfilling the intra-week snake, which was also on my part interpreted as potentially being a perfect invert mirrored fulfillment of that upside projection being fulfilled in a downside manner. And there is this convergence spot coming up here in the future if price action were to continue to fulfill the intra-week snake. And then at that point, it looks to be either a continuation to upside fulfillment or a convergence back with the OG placement of the macro comparative for the second bottom, therefore completing this macro double bottom here before that move back upside. So that is what I am looking at within the macro comparative right now in the position of it, with our price action within it, with its potential upcoming projections and how that looks against the intra-week snake. Now, I explained this in a bunch of previous videos, but if you take this macro comparative and compress it to where this double top here on the macro comparative aligns itself with the actual price action double top here, it aligns this blue run up with the red run up and this bottom in here with this bottom. So if we were to get the intra-week snake fulfillment to the upside, that would essentially be looked at and interpreted as the macro comparative being in that compressed position rather than this OG position that it's in. And I would obviously not be looking for that convergence back with and continuation of fulfillment out here. So those are the two setups on that macro comparative that I have been tracking and going over here on the channel as well. And that is everything that I am looking at with AMC moving into tomorrow and beyond. Then up next is GME. GME finished the day today down 3.65% in regular trading hours, currently even Steven in after hours at $19.81. The current intra-week snakes are on your screen. They have been fulfilling for 3 weeks consecutive now. The blue is the day of divergence. The red is the day prior to. The red, the day prior to, started out in its mirrored position, and we failed to get that double bottom bounce back upside, so I put it back in its straight up position, which is actually the mirrored from its original fulfillment, to put it in here as an offset. This is how I work the micro intraday snakes, and I'm using the same methodology with the intra-week right now. And as you can see, we started out fulfilling the day of divergence for the length of its current fulfillment of that 3 consecutive weeks. However, when we mirrored downside, I turned that down in case this were to fall out and somewhat potentially put in a mirrored fulfillment of that upside projection. And I used the day prior to, as I said, in its mirrored position from the original fulfilling position. And I drew this out in the previous update and prep videos. You can see that it projects a perfect mirroring of that upside projection. They converge back with, and then we get a mirrored projection out here away from the projection of the day prior to fulfilling snake. So I used it in that way, and you can see here the last 3 days, that is exactly what has fulfilled on GME. You can see where we fulfilled the day prior to and how it looks like we may potentially continue to fulfill that at least to this convergence point moving forward here in the future. So you can see where we're at within it, the continued fulfillment of it, and the projection of it moving forward into tomorrow and beyond. From a technical perspective, the levels again are still intact that I'm looking at. I'll be looking at that 948 or 950 level of support to hold price level above, or price action above that. If we were to catch a bounce off that up to the upside, I'll be looking at 2170 as my next level of resistance. However, if the 1948 or 1950 were to breach to downside, the next level down I'll be looking at will be 1805. A breach of 1805, I'll be looking at 1560. And that is everything with GME that I am looking at. Then last but not least is SPY. SPY finished the day today down 1.43% in regular trading hours, down an additional 0.06% here in after hours, trading at 380.48. The current set of 3 intra-week snakes that I have been tracking, red, orange, and blue day prior to the previous divergence, either the day prior to or day of, depending on which one, red or blue, ends up being part of the set. And blue is a day of divergence only. The red day prior to, these intra-week snakes, all three of them, in one way or another, have been fulfilling their projections for 7 consecutive weeks now, just like AMC. They are sequenced up with AMC right now. Here's the red day prior to, and where I last had this in the previous video was right here. And you can see how we were fulfilling that. I talked about it, getting out away from this in that straight line volatile way versus consolidating downside in that channel as it was projecting. And I went ahead and moved this over to take a look at this, because if you look at it, it does project that move downside, back upside, then back downside. And that appears to be where we are at within that schematic with that continued fulfillment. This is something myself and the premium Discord members have gone over and been looking at. Obviously, like I said, I haven't seen you or talked to you all since Sunday, and likewise, you haven't seen or heard from me since then either, but this is something we've been looking at and tracking in there. So there's the position of it. You can see the dead on fulfillment of it all of this week with that bounce back upside, and now the rejection off of that internal micro third and back downside here. We got a dead on hit off of the micro reverse third today with that relief bounce this afternoon, and you can see where we're at within that and what the projection would be from it moving forward into tomorrow and beyond. From a box top tip there, as I was just speaking about it here, for those of you that do follow box top. Now, this was charted on the micro time frame, but this was the third coming out of the middle of this potential W formation, the smaller one here, and we had that dead on hit here off of the third yesterday. We had the box top build out, the neckline breach to downside today. This was the reverse third coming out of there as well, and that is exactly where our bottom hit today with that V-shaped recovery on the micro time frame. So a new one will be pulled from here as well. That is the absolute power of box top. It allows you and enables you to project the tops, project the bottoms. It gives you the range of trading. Just absolutely dead on over this week here on the micro time frame, as well as this macro out here that we have fulfilled likewise. So here we go with the orange day prior to or day of divergence, again depending on the setup here, and they've all been valid for the most part. The red day prior to and this orange, in the scenario that the two of them are there, would be a day of divergence, have fulfilled in one position throughout start to where we're currently at, whereas the blue day of divergence has been used in both the straight up and the mirrored position multiple times due to the price action fulfilling its projection in a mirrored manner throughout it. So here we go with the orange day of or day prior to divergence. Here was the position of it, and you can see what price action we got here. Again, structurally, it is relating to the projected price action, just at a different price level here. So if this were to be vertically compressed and brought up here, you can see that we did get that continued fulfillment out of it, absolutely dead on right there as it was projecting. You can see where we're at within it, the continued fulfillment of it throughout all of this week, and what the projection would be from it moving forward into tomorrow and beyond if price action were to continue to fulfill it. The blue day of divergence only, like I said, this has been projecting and fulfilling in both the straight up and the mirrored position multiple times throughout, and the placement of this has been in question throughout a lot of this as well. This was something that we looked at kind of on the fly today in Premium Discord. I had essentially originally put this off to the side after we got the bounce back upside here, but I guess we looked at it like this today and thought, you know, if this was mirrored fulfillment a couple places throughout, as it was in real time here, there, and there, right here and right here, and then right here and right here, that would be the only potential position of it that would remain valid in any way, shape, or form with any vertical or horizontal compression or extension to encompass all of the movement. So if that were the case, you can see where price action would be within it and what the projection would be from it. Then on top of all that, and I'm not going to go ahead and show them here tonight because I am going to give it some room tomorrow to give me some more price action, and hopefully that'll give me some insight. But just in case this price action we got was not in any way, shape, or form conducive to continued fulfillment of one of the intra-week snakes that I just showed you, then I would have to deem our current price action as a divergence from the continued downside that both the red and the orange were showing. So the day prior to red and the day of divergence orange, as you know, were both showing continuation downside, and we did get this bounce here and consolidation this week. So if I were to deem that a divergence, then a new set of intra-week snakes would need to be clipped, and I have already clipped them, but I am going to keep things simplified for this video and not bring them to the table yet. But I did clip them from Tuesday as the day of divergence and Monday as the day prior to divergence. So that's everything from an intra-week snake perspective. I know it's a lot. It's kind of a little bit muddy just because with the hack and everything that happened, I had worked around the clock almost 40 hours straight over the last 2 days here to get everything fixed and back up and running. And I haven't had a whole heck of a lot of time to really dive into the price action. I just kind of did it on the fly here this morning to get some intra-week snakes here today to potentially track if that was the divergence. So like I said, I want to give it a little bit more time going into tomorrow. I want to see tomorrow's price action. I'll make a determination from there. And then in the Sunday weekly update and prep video, I will decide whether or not I start presenting them and showing you them, and if I'm going to use them moving forward, or if I'm going to continue to lean on the current continued fulfilling intra-week snakes. From a technical perspective on SPY, downside, we are looking at the significant level of support, ascending level of support here in blue running upside. We are sitting right on it. So a breach of that, the next level down I'll be looking for on a macro perspective will be that 375.35 level to downside. However, if we maintain support above that macro ascending level of support, the next level up that I will be looking at will be right there at 385.25, 385.25 to upside. A breach of that, and then I'll obviously be looking at this neckline top at around 387.25. A breach of that, and then the next level up I'll be looking at will be up here around 392.50 to 393. My friends, my family, that is everything I have for this video and everything that I have that I am currently looking at moving into specifically tomorrow with AMC, GME, and SPY. If you made it to the end of the video, thank you all very much. I greatly appreciate it. Like I said at the beginning, Merry Christmas to everybody. I hope you all enjoy your holiday weekend. I'll get an update and prep video out on Sunday for the weekly update and prep Sunday or Monday. We'll see how the weekend goes here. And then we are back at it Tuesday next week. We have Monday off. Market is closed on Monday. Like I said, extended holiday weekend. So I will then get that out probably on Sunday for the update and prep, and then I will be live streaming right here on the YouTube channel and on the Twitch channel next Wednesday all day long from 9 a.m. until market close. Don't forget about, I'll remind you in the update and prep over the weekend. So take care, enjoy yourselves, appreciate all the support, enjoy your holiday weekend, and I will talk to you all on the next one. Later, Gators.